Hello there, it's Dennis Reed, Director of Silver Voices, the campaign organisation for the over 60s. Over the summer, the government announced that drivers over the age of 70 would have to take a compulsory eye test every 3 years in order to be able to continue driving. Now, Silver Voices is going to oppose these proposals as they stand, and here is the reasons why. When the government announced the new policy of compulsory eye tests for the over 70s, it publicised a few hand-picked examples of cases involving tragic accidents involving very old people, often over the age of 85, and where eyesight was not necessarily the only factor involved in the accidents. The government produced no evidence whatsoever that eyesight is a major factor in serious accidents, or if it is, whether the age of 70 is justified, whether the accidents actually vary according to age. It seems to us like 70 was picked out of the hat by the government to show it is doing something serious on road safety. And yet again, I'm afraid, scapegoat pensioners for failed traffic policies. In other words, straightforward age discrimination. Now, male drivers between the ages of 17 and 24 are 3 times more likely than older drivers to be involved in serious accidents, and no radical action is being proposed to deal with that particular challenge. We argue that older drivers are much more likely to be careful when driving and to take advantage of the free eye tests available to us and take corrective action if needed. For example, stronger glasses or cataract operations. Research in other countries doesn't back up the government's position on this either. In both the European Union and Australian research, where they compared areas which do have checkups on older drivers compared to areas where they don't have such tests, there was no statistical difference in the amount of serious accidents caused by older drivers. We don't think the government even keeps statistics about eyesight as being a factor in road accidents. They certainly haven't produced any such evidence. If there is a case for periodic compulsory eye tests, then surely it should apply to all ages. You can't say that over 70 suddenly that we must have these eye tests, but between 17 and 69 there is no need for them. Of course, there must be case studies available as well, where younger drivers, middle-aged drivers, are causing accidents as a result of poor eyesight because either they haven't had eye tests or they're not wearing the glasses that have been prescribed for them. If there was a case for eye tests on a compulsory basis and it applied to all ages, then we would certainly be supporting such a policy. But where the government stands at the moment, there are so many questions to be asked. What will these tests entail? For example, are they going to be stricter than the current rudimentary, well-known eye test of being able to read a car licence plate from 20 metres? Or are they going to be much harder than that? Who will undertake the tests? Will it be the NHS? Will it be the GP? Will it be Specsavers? We just don't know. And crucially, will it cost money to be able to take these eye tests and therefore continue driving? Also, could the NHS cope with a sudden mass surge of requests for treatment for glaucoma or cataract operations? At the moment, there are long waiting lists in parts of the country for these sorts of operations and treatment. I suspect that the NHS wouldn't be ready for it, and older people would be driven off the road, if you like, because they can't get the necessary treatment following a failed eye test. And this is not to be taken lightly. older people more than any other age groups depend on their cars in order to be able to conduct their normal lives, whether it be going shopping, going to the doctor, hospital appointments, or to keep up a social life. So it shouldn't be taken lightly that older people face being driven off the road. So unless there are more persuasive arguments in favour of this compulsory testing for older drivers, then we will oppose the proposals on grounds of age discrimination. I mean, that's what it's about. We polled all our members, as we do, being a democratic organisation, about the position we should take on this, and there was a large majority in favour of us opposing these proposals as they stand, unless evidence emerges that justifies the position. If you agree with our position on this, and you're not already a member of Silver Voices, then why don't you join Silver Voices today by contacting us through the website which you see behind me. Well, that's it. I hope you found this little video interesting, and speak to you again soon.